They wore bird-like masks filled with herbs, carried long wooden canes to prod the dying, and believed that death spread through evil air. In the darkest days of the Middle Ages, these figures walked the streets like omens, part healer, part horror. But who were the plague doctors? And were they really saving lives, or simply counting the dead? The Time Archive presents the bizarre practices of medieval plague doctors. Chapter 1. The Black Death Strikes. It was the 14th century. Europe was thriving, bustling cities, trade routes, and art flourishing. Then, in 1347, a ship docked in Sicily carrying a silent killer. Within weeks, entire towns were gone. Within years, nearly half of Europe was dead. The people called it the Black Death. No one knew what caused it: rats, fleas, the air itself, or God's punishment. And as panic grew, cities turned to anyone willing to face the dying. That's when the plague doctors appeared. Chapter 2. The birth of the plague doctor. The first plague doctors weren't heroes or experts. Many had no medical training at all. They were hired by towns not to cure, but to count the dead and record who had fallen ill. Still, they became infamous for one thing: their terrifying uniform. Black leather coat, gloves, wide-brimmed hat, and that iconic bird mask, a design so strange, it looks more like a nightmare than medicine. Chapter 3. The beaked mask. The beak wasn't just decoration. It was filled with herbs, spices, and even vinegar-soaked cloth. The doctors believed that foul smells, known as miasma, carried disease. So if you could block the bad air, you could block the plague. They stuffed the mask with mint, roses, camphor, or cloves, anything to cover the stench of death. To them, it was protection. To everyone else, it was the face of fear. Chapter 4. The Strange Cures. The plague doctors didn't just dress strangely, their treatments were even stranger. One cure involved bloodletting, cutting open veins to let out the sickness. Another used leeches or boiled frogs placed on the sores. Some even rubbed onions, crushed emeralds, or human waste into wounds. It didn't work. In fact, it often made things worse. But when half the continent was dying, desperation made anything seem possible. Chapter 5. The Cane and the Roll. The plague doctor's long wooden cane wasn't just for walking. It was a tool to keep their distance, to lift the sheets of the sick, or even point out bodies to be removed. Many doctors were forbidden to touch patients directly. They wandered through silent towns, marking doors with black crosses, keeping ledgers of the dead, grim record keepers of a dying world. Chapter 6. The Legacy. In the end, the plague burned through Europe and faded away. The doctors, those strange masked figures, disappeared too, but their image remained, a symbol of fear, of superstition, of humanity's desperate attempt to fight what it didn't understand. Today, the plague doctor mask is a Halloween costume, a symbol in art and games. But centuries ago, seeing one meant death was close. They weren't healers, they were witnesses to the darkest chapter in human history. If you love exploring the strange dark corners of history, subscribe to the Time Archive for more stories the textbooks left behind.